Alright, people, hi. There is something I need to talk about. How do I start? Okay, this is not scripted at all. I just walked outside and had my thoughts, and as it always is, I get all passionate and excited, and I need to speak about something that really moves me. Just now, I was grocery shopping, and I came with my bike, pushing my bike with lots and lots of bags hanging from it. And I crossed the street at the traffic light, and then suddenly people were signaling me with the fingers, turn around, and I was already across the street, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was with my headphones, and I couldn't hear what anyone was saying or if anyone was yelling anything. And I turned around, and there was on the other side of the street, there was this girl waving me with this bag of kind of mixed lettuce thing that had fallen out of one of my bags, and she was smiling and waving, and people were pointing, and it was so touching. It was so beautiful how people care. And then she crossed the street and came to me and gave it to me and said hey, have a good evening, and I thanked her. And I was just thinking life is so full of beauty. People are so full of kindness, and there's a lot of good in the world. There's a lot of beauty in the nature around us, in people around us. We just need to see it. We just need to keep on realizing it's there, and to not get stuck in these negative feedback loops. And the thing that got me to talk about this is that I was just at a local new trans group meeting, which is nicely a mixed gender, it's a M2F and F2M meeting. And I knew it in advance, because I've had the similar thing with different groups in Berlin. I have this issue with dealing with there seems to be this inherent negativity bias in these kind of trans groups, and apparently especially in trans female or trans feminine or whatever groups. And I really couldn't, it's hard for me to stand it. There's so much negativity going on, and always so much whining in the same phrases repeated again and again, and holy shit, people wow. It's really hard for me to be in this room, and I just want to leave. I don't want to go there, And it's a pity, because it could be awesome to be together and to meet and to exchange. There were some really, really hard stories that I really don't want to call whining. There was this one trans female person who seriously got stones thrown after her in Berlin. Not just somewhere in I don't know where, but in one of the most open cities that we have on this earth, probably, and it's terrible. It's really terrible. There's nastiest things we have to deal with, but the way for us to deal with it cannot be that we just repeat again and again how terrible everything is. Nothing will get better by whining and bitching about it. It's so important to keep a positivity bias in your life. And I don't have the solution for clinical depression, I'm not saying it's that easy. I'm not saying that you can, if somebody's seriously depressed, just go smile, think something positive. No, it's not that easy. But as much as you can, you always have to keep in mind that there's light, and there's beauty, and there's positivity, and we need to look for it and open our eyes to it. And it's often difficult, yeah. Pina Bausch was saying, dance, dance, otherwise we are lost. She's so right about it. Pina Bausch was a fantastic German dance theater choreographer, a very, very, very important one. She had a huge impact, and as a dancer, I actually know from first-hand recounts that Pina Bausch was indeed well, as many artists, I guess, a difficult person, very difficult to work with. And I guess that she has been quite an asshole to some of her dancers, or many of her dancers. And it's not all just like positive and beautiful and romantic, but still, nevertheless, her work, like, you should check out this film. It's a documentary, and it came out very shortly after Pina's death. And you should absolutely see. Pina Bausch has a lot to tell us about society and also about gender, actually, also about gender roles. But okay, it's a different thing. For now, dance, otherwise we are lost. What I see in this is we just can't be giving up. We cannot give in to the negativity. We cannot give in to being beaten down and not standing up again. You know, we like in this trans group, there was a mention of the issues with the gay and lesbian movement and the transgender movement, and how they often don't really go well together. And there's like a is trans queer or not a discussion, and they say, yeah, well, you know, like being gay is like so mainstream today and it's like so accepted. But it would never ever have gotten there if everybody would have just whined about things and kept on going on being how terrible it is, and then not done anything. Because what made being gay be able to become a much more accepted mainstreamish thing, or at least in most of Europe, I guess, and like good parts of the US and Canada anyway and whatnot, I don't know, not everywhere, but yeah, Western society, there is a lot of acceptance of being non-conforming in your sexual orientation. So there were people who felt the pain and did something about it. And there were trans people who felt the pain and did something about it. And there are trans people today who feel the pain and do something about it. And then I hear sentences like, yeah, you know, I'm out of this phase where I think I have to like change the world or make everything better. Well, fuck, it can't be a phase. You cannot stop wanting to improve. The same as you can never stop wanting to improve yourself and who you are. And your personal life is something about growth, about movement, about constantly refinding who you are and what you want and what's important for you in a personal level and on a societal level. And as a society as well, we can never give up the fight against like intolerance and racism and homophobia and transphobia and you name it. There is so many things we need to constantly work on because the magic doesn't happen by itself. Nothing is being done by, giving up and hoping someone else will do it, or just saying, like, it all sucks. No, fuck that. Like, get doing something. Go public. Like, so people ask you about your genitals. Okay, people are curious. Like, see that it's a valid perspective for somebody cisgendered, for somebody who might never have seen a trans person, to not realize how rude they are when they ask the wrong questions. Not realize how rude they are when they cannot keep their eyes from you, looking up and down, thinking like, are you a boy or a girl? It's a valid perspective. I've been on the other side as well. I've been sitting in the like S-Bahn, like the German whatever city train blah metro thing, and I have been sitting opposite to some person who was clearly like unclearly anything, like very androgynous, and I was maybe shy enough to not stare and self-controlled enough. But yeah, of course I had curiosity, of course I wanted to ask, and maybe I should have found the right words to ask, and I didn't know how to ask, so I didn't ask anything. But every time you meet someone who has this curiosity and who maybe is not sure how to express it, or who is sure how to express it and who will ask you, it's always an opportunity to educate, to help people understand, and to have one person who you help understand can be such a multiplier. And they may tell their friends, they may tell their family, like one person that when they look at you, you smile back and yeah, okay, you can't always smile back, and sometimes you're in a shit mood, and that's fine. Not always. I'm talking about like breaking out of a like negative feedback loop. realizing patterns. Practically, when you meet someone that you don't know and they stare at you, or they like have a curious question and they're like awkward about it, help them, you know? Like, if you can find in yourself the power and the passion and the openness, then come towards them welcoming, because people want to know, people want to understand, and the very most violence in the world is coming out of insecurity. So help people feel secure. You know, like if they cannot put you into a box, are you male, are you female, are you a boy, are you a girl? Yeah, so it confuses people. They don't know what to do with you. So help them. Make them feel safe, make them feel secure. You know, like they don't know how to talk to you. So maybe help them understand how to talk to you. I'm being so open about my everything. Like, I mean, I'm showing my body. I'm like, here, okay, this is my boobs, they grow. This is my ass, it's like growing. This is my lack of libido. This is my, you know, now I'm like extrovert enough to be comfortable doing that. And then maybe others don't have to do it. But I want everybody to be able to understand better that everyone is a person, no matter their race or sexual orientation or gender identity. And we all like find tolerance in educating each other and helping each other understand and feel safe and feel like it's okay to ask questions and it's okay to be afraid to ask. It's okay. It's all okay. Like, so be afraid. Ask anyway. You know? Do it. Now, when you're not feeling your best and you feel like you can't be open and answer every request and answer every question, and like, for me it's easy, you know, I'm on hormones now for, in a few days it will be 2 months. It's all beginning for me, and I'm like full of passion and energy and la 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 la. Yeah, and of course you can burn out after a while. But if you get burned out or not has a lot to do with your feedback loops. And I think that like this whole thing of self-care that I like mentioned now, I guess quite a few times already in my videos, observe yourself. You know, you need to realize what your patterns are. You need to realize what are your emotional responses and how can you get yourself out of it. So earlier today, I realized how difficult it can be. Like, once more, sometimes I get stressed. I have this tendency to always be late. And when I get stressed, I can react either by getting very frustrated and hating the whole world, or now, especially since I'm on estrogen, it happened a few more times than before, or maybe before it basically didn't happen at all, that I have this like victim thing of like, oh my god, it's so terrible, and blah, blah, blah. So me. I'm so poor. And like, when you're in that, like, first thing is acceptance. Realize you're doing it, realize you're having this response, and say like, okay, I'm having this response like now. It's fine. No need to beat yourself up. Don't ever beat yourself up for anything. Like, you are you and you're okay. And if you're finding yourself having negative feedback loops all the time, then right now that's okay too, because that's how we are right now. And the first and most important step to getting out of that is to realize it and to say, this is who I am right now, and I have control to change it. And then the next step is, okay, now why am I acting like this? How am I acting like this? What triggered me to... I don't like the word trigger, but okay, whatever. What triggered me to be this way right now? And how can I avoid it in the future, to have this happen to me, to fall into this mood? Like, for me, I'm looking back, I realize how I saw when it was the right time, where I should go to my dentist appointment, and I was working and there was something I felt like I could finish it, and I was like, okay, just this and just this and just this, just one more. And then I was late and I got stressed because I should have done it earlier and it was my own fault, and I should have finished and prepared, and I didn't, and I was like fucking late, and now I have to go there tomorrow again because I basically missed my kind of more or less appointment, my drop-in. I got really pissy. I got really pissy. I hated the world. I was like on my bike, I was trying to get out of it, and I really had a hard time. But now there's different ways of how you can get out of that, and that is different from person to person. And I think I should make another video about this once I actually find the papers, because when I, in my studies, when I did my Bachelor of Arts in Dance Performance, I had a workshop with some sports psychologists who were teaching about how you deal with, like, say, stage fright, how you deal with having to go on stage, being backstage somewhere, and like being on the brink of blanking, like having your brain blank from stress and forgetting, like, what is your choreography, why are you even here, or like you're on stage and you're performing, in the middle of performing you suddenly like lose your flow, lose your focus. Like there's this situation of being in the moment, in the flow, and being fully with what you're doing, and then there's this, why am I even here? What am I doing? Huh? Oh, what's on my grocery list, you know? And then there's like a lot of station in between. And there's tools to move up and down between these and that. And how you can get there is a personal thing. Like some people can gain their focus by turning inward. Some people can gain their focus by turning outward better. Some people can more gain their focus or calmness, zen, by focusing on detail, and some can more by focusing like on something broad. For me, like what seems to work best is like my type basically is I'm broad external. No, wait, stop. I'm small external. I'm not broad external. For me, if I'm in this pissy mood, like I described before, like I'm on the bike and I'm just frustrated and I can't get out of it. In this situation, it helped me to listen to my music and to really, really, really like give in to the detail of what I'm hearing and what it's doing to me. Like listening to these impulses of something that's outside of me, that's created by someone else, or that is not internal to my thoughts or my emotions. Of course there's an overlap, you know, especially with music, because it does something to you, but of course like it's meant to do something to you. Another time, a few days ago, when I was in this really pissy mood and I was sitting in a tram and it was like all gray weather and ugly and rainy, and suddenly I saw, like outside the tram, I saw this puddle of rain with a like grass sticking out, and I saw a little reflection of the sky, and just, you know, I just see this tiny beauty, and it just fulfills me, and it just changes me. It makes me smile. Earlier today also, before I hopped on my bike, when I was so pissy outside, I looked in the mirror and I made the faces expressing how I felt, and I just looked so ridiculous. And I had to laugh about myself for like looking so silly and grumpy, and yeah, that can help too. Now, this is small external. It could be that you're broad external, so that you like find your calmness in looking at the sky. For some people, the sky doesn't have enough to hold on to, or like whatever big landscape, and they will feel stressed because the eye doesn't have something to see, to take in. Like if you're small external, then like watching something broad won't help you. Maybe you're broad internal, so it would help you to feel inside your whole body, to see your, like to experience your body as one whole entity, and to, it's hard for me to describe because it's not how I work, but you know, okay, imagine broad internal, maybe that works for you. You can do something with that. Or small internal, I think it's the best thing for people who like to meditate and who like to like focus on their breathing or their heartbeat, or yeah, maybe follow one specific thought. Like for me, if I would be stressed, if I would be before a performance and I have to go on stage and I'm nervous, if I focus on a thought, I will just like increase my going mad and thinking, and there's no point. It won't help me. But for some people, going inside and looking at detail, it will help. So find how you work, and this way learn how you can break your patterns of being in some emotional trap and getting out of it, and being able to change your mood. And then you're gonna be able to reflect. Like first you have to like get out of your mood, and then you can look into what the fuck brought me here, and observe again and again and again and again, and then learn how to fix yourself. Yeah. There's a lot more to talk about this, and I'm already here filming 24 minutes. Okay, I have to stop. Well, conclusion, be the fuck positive, like whenever you can, and when you can't, don't freaking beat yourself up, because it's also negativity. Start accepting the world as it is right now, and then see where you can start improving. But without acceptance, without realizing that people who might even hate you, they have a valid perspective, they might have that from fear, they might have that from growing up a certain way, from their environment, from their belief system. Realize it's like this, first of all, and then see how you can like work with that and what we can do. And let's be constructive. Let's always be as constructive as we can be, because there is no changing the world with all this whiny. So when you're whiny, be whiny, but get yourself out a bit. Self-care like a boss. Alright, everybody, congratulations if you made it until here, to the end of this video. Like, comment, subscribe, write me something nice, be constructive, join the discussion. Let's figure out how we can push on towards opening the society for tolerance, for understanding. Let's be present, let's be positive, let's help people understand us. And by the way, this is not just for someone who is transgender. Like, what the hell? I'm talking to everybody here. This is relevant for everyone. Like, really, basically, all of the like transgender topics I'm talking about, they're like all globally applicable. So, let's get working. Subscribe to follow my transition and hear more thoughts and discussions, and I hope I can give some value to this societal discussion, this important process that we are all going through together. And thank you. See you soon. Ciao.